The Storm and the Stranger. Turin lived alone at the edge of the city, where the tall buildings ended and the dry lands began. He wasn't rich. He wasn't famous. He was just a simple man who fixed broken machines in his small workshop. But that night, everything changed. The sky was dark and strange. Green and purple lightning flashed across the clouds. The air felt heavy, and the wind howled like it was alive. Terran stood outside his workshop, looking up. "Another space storm," he muttered. "Third one this month." He went back inside and turned on the radio. Only static. The signal was gone. He checked the lights. They flickered, then died. Great. No power. He picked up his flashlight and sighed. Guess I'm working in the dark tonight. Suddenly, he heard something outside. Thump. It wasn't thunder. It was something else. Something close. Terran stepped out slowly. The storm wind pushed against him. He scanned the area with his flashlight. Dust blew everywhere. Then he saw it. A shape. Curled up near the fence. Small. Not moving. He walked closer, heart beating faster. It was a girl. She lay on her side, her arms wrapped around herself. Her skin was strange, pale with a blue glow, like moonlight. Her clothes were torn, dirty. She was shivering hard, like she was freezing. Turin knelt beside her. "Hey, are you okay?" No answer. Her eyes were closed. He touched her shoulder gently. Her skin was ice cold. Without thinking, he picked her up. She was light. Too light for a normal person. He brought her inside and placed her on the old couch. He covered her with a blanket and ran to get water. When he returned, her eyes were half open. They glowed a soft silver in the dark. She looked at him, confused, afraid. "Easy," Terran said. "You're safe now. Just rest." She tried to speak but couldn't. Instead, she reached for the cup with shaking hands. He helped her drink. As she swallowed, she coughed, then closed her eyes again. Terran stared at her, unsure what to do. She wasn't human. That much was clear. An alien. He had heard about some refugees hiding on Earth. Not all aliens were bad. Some just wanted peace, but the law was strict. Harboring one was a crime. Turin looked at her again. She looked young, weak, helpless. He made his choice. "I won't turn you in," he whispered. "You can stay here until you're better." He checked the door locks and windows, made sure everything was sealed. Outside, the storm grew worse. A patrol drone passed in the sky, its red light scanning the area. Turin turned off his flashlight and hid behind the curtains. After a few minutes, the drone moved on. He returned to the couch. The girl was asleep now, her breathing slow, her glow dim. Terran sat on the floor nearby, keeping watch. Hours passed. Midnight came. The wind began to calm. Just as Turin started to doze off, he heard a sound. A whisper. He opened his eyes. The girl was sitting up, her face pale, her hands gripping the blanket tight. She was sweating now, glowing a little more. Terran stood up. "You need something." She looked at him, scared. Then she said something strange. "It's starting." "What is?" She didn't answer. Her eyes rolled back for a second, and she gasped. Turin ran to her side. "Hey, are you okay?" She grabbed his wrist suddenly. Her grip was stronger than before. "Don't touch me," she said softly. "You'll start it too." Turin froze. "Start what?" She looked into his eyes. Her voice was barely a whisper. "My season." Then she collapsed again, breathing heavy. Terran sat there, heart racing. What did she mean? What was her season? He didn't know. But deep inside, he felt it. This was only the beginning. Signs of change. The next morning, Turin woke up on the cold floor beside the couch. His neck was stiff and his back ached. The memory of last night came back like a flash. Lightning, the strange storm, and the alien girl glowing in his arms. He looked toward the couch. She was still there. But something was different. The blanket had fallen off, and her skin was glowing brighter now. Not just her face, but her arms, neck, and even the tips of her fingers. A soft, blue shimmer moved slowly across her body, like moonlight dancing on water. Her chest rose and fell, but her breath was quicker than before, too fast. Terran sat up. "Hey, can you hear me?" Her eyes opened slowly. Those silver eyes locked onto his, but this time they weren't filled with fear. They were sharp, focused, as if something inside her had awakened. She tried to speak, but her throat was dry. He gave her more water, and this time, she drank all of it. "What's your name?" Terran asked. She looked at him. "Velari." Her voice was soft, but it echoed strangely in the room, like two voices speaking at once. Terran hesitated. "I'm Terran. You're safe here. But the patrols, if they find out." "They won't," Velari interrupted. "You covered my energy trail. That was smart." Terran blinked. "I didn't. Really know I did that." Velari looked at him again, this time with curiosity. "You're different. Most humans wouldn't help someone like me. I fix machines, not people, but I couldn't leave you out there in that storm." She stared at him in silence, then looked away. Her fingers trembled slightly. Terran noticed her sweating. The room wasn't hot. "Are you okay?" "No," she said. "It's starting." "I told you." Terran frowned. "You said that last night. What's starting?" Velari didn't answer. Instead, she pulled her knees to her chest and stared at the wall. Terran didn't push. He walked into the back room, opened his old datapad, and searched for alien species databases. He tried typing in the name, Velari. Nothing. Then he typed female alien, glowing skin, heat, silver eyes. After a few minutes, something popped up. Chineri, a rare species. Female members experience extreme physiological changes during a mating cycle triggered by emotional rescue or touch. Terran stopped reading. Mating cycle. He read on. When activated, the Chineri female enters a phase of bonding instinct. Her body chemistry shifts. Temperature rises. Her mind becomes protective and possessive. She chooses a mate during this period, and once chosen, the bond is nearly impossible to break. Terran stared at the screen. A cold sweat ran down his back. No way. That can't be real. He walked back into the room slowly. Velari was lying on her side now, breathing through her mouth, skin still glowing. "Velari," he said quietly, "I read something about your kind." She looked at him, but didn't speak. "Is it true? The bonding thing?" She didn't move. Then, finally, she nodded. Terran sat down carefully on the other side of the room. "Did I do something?" "You touched me," she whispered. "Held me when I was weak. Protected me. You looked into my eyes when I was vulnerable." "That's normal for us," Terran said. "That's just human kindness." "Not for my people," she said. "For us, that act means something else. It signals compatibility. And once the cycle starts, the body chooses." Terran rubbed his face with his hands. "So you're saying your body chose me?" "Yes," she said, "but I didn't want it to." That hit him harder than he expected. "Sorry," she said, seeing his face. "I meant, I didn't come here to bond with anyone. I was just running for my life. I didn't know I'd meet someone like you." Terran leaned back, staring at the ceiling. "This is crazy." Velari's breathing got heavier again. She sat up slowly, gripping her chest. "I'm trying to fight it," she said, "but it's getting harder." "What happens if you don't complete the bond?" She looked down. "I get sick. My body breaks down. And if the bond fails, I die." Terran's heart sank. There's no medicine. No way to stop it. She shook her head. Only time or bonding. He stood up and paced. So what do we do now? I can't just bond with you. I'm human. I don't even know what that means. Valerie looked at him sadly. Neither do I. But it's too late. The process started the moment you held me. I've been marked. Turin turned toward the window. Outside, the wind had stopped, but something else filled the air. A strange tension. Can we buy time? He asked. Valerie slowly got up, unsteady on her feet. Her legs shook as she walked toward the wall. She touched the metal. Maybe. If I stay away from you. If I don't see you, don't breathe your scent, don't hear your voice, maybe I can slow it down. She turned to him. Her eyes glowed brighter now. But if I stay here with you too long, my body won't listen to me anymore. Turin opened the door to the back room. You can stay in here. There's a bed, small vent. I'll bring food. She nodded and walked past him. But before going in, she turned to him and said, You saved me. That means something. But if you want to turn me in, I won't stop you. Just don't stay near me. For both our sakes. Turin looked at her. I'm not turning you in. Valerie gave a weak smile, then shut the door. Turin stood alone in the workshop, his mind spinning. He had only tried to help someone. And now he was part of something deeper, something alien. What scared him more than anything was that part of him didn't want to walk away. The claiming instinct. 3 days passed. Turin kept his distance, just like Valerie asked. He left food by her door, knocked once, and walked away. He barely slept. Every night, strange dreams filled his mind. Glowing eyes, whispers in the dark, warm hands pulling him into light. He told himself it was just stress. But deep inside, something was changing. He felt it. The mornings were the hardest. Every time he passed her door, his heart would beat faster. He imagined her on the other side, lying on the bed, her silver eyes watching the ceiling, her skin glowing faintly. He wondered if she was dreaming of him too. By the 4th night, Turin couldn't ignore it anymore. The bond was affecting him now. He stood in front of the mirror, eyes bloodshot, hands shaking. This is insane, he said to himself. She's alien. You're just human. But when he closed his eyes, he could hear her heartbeat. He hadn't seen her in days, and yet her presence clung to the air like invisible heat. He opened her door slowly that evening. She was sitting in the far corner, knees pulled to her chest, skin shimmering under the dim light. She looked weak and beautiful in a way that felt wrong to describe. She looked up slowly. Turin. Her voice was softer now, tired. You're getting worse, he said. Valerie nodded. I can't fight it anymore. Why? He asked, stepping in. What's happening to you now? She looked at him, her pupils narrowing. The claiming instinct has begun. Turin froze. What does that mean? Valerie stood slowly, her movements almost cat-like. Her body was warmer now, sweat forming on her neck. Her scent hit him, sweet, strange, intoxicating. It means, my body is choosing, she said, and it's drawing you closer. She stepped toward him, then stopped. You're feeling it too, aren't you? Turin swallowed. I don't know what I'm feeling. Valerie's face turned sad. My people evolved differently. In our past, we lived on harsh planets. To survive, we needed strong partners. The bond became a biological command. When it starts, we don't just want our mate. We need them. Turin took a shaky step back. So what happens now? I'll change, Valerie said. I already have. Her voice was deeper, more emotional now. Once a female enters the claiming phase, she builds her nest. She prepares a space where she feels safe with her mate. Her body releases energy that lures the chosen one. And when the mate is near, we claim them. Turin blinked. Claim how? Through touch, through connection. It's not always physical, Turin. Sometimes it's deeper, mental, emotional. Turin shook his head. I'm not ready for this. Neither am I, Valerie whispered. Silence filled the room. Then she said something he didn't expect. I don't want to force you. If you walk away now, I will die, yes, but at least I'll know I didn't break your will. Turin stared at her. The air between them pulsed. Suddenly, the building shook. A loud boom echoed outside. Turin rushed to the window. Drones. 2 black patrol drones hovered outside the fence. One scanned the area with a red beam. The other dropped low, sending a buzz through the workshop's walls. Valerie's skin lit up. They found me. Turin ran to the back room. We need to leave now. No, Valerie said. If I move too far from you, I'll collapse. My body is connected to yours now. The scanner beam passed over the window. A robotic voice echoed. UNREGISTRED energy, DETCTED. Comply or be licensed. Turin clenched his fists. They're not taking you. Valerie looked at him with wide eyes. Then choose. What? Choose now. Let me bond with you. Even for a moment. It will give me strength. Enough to fight. Enough to run. Turin stepped closer. What happens if I do? Valerie smiled sadly. Then you'll never be the same again. Turin looked into her glowing eyes and stepped forward. I don't care, he said. Do it. She reached out with trembling hands and touched his face. The world blurred. For a moment, Turin felt like he was falling through space. Memories flashed across his mind, but they weren't his. He saw Valerie as a child, running through golden fields. He saw her people fleeing burning cities. He felt her pain, her fear, her loneliness. Then he saw himself through her eyes. Strong, brave, kind. The one she had chosen. When the light faded, Turin dropped to one knee. His heart pounded like a drum. Sweat poured down his face. Valerie stood tall now, energy pulsing around her like a storm. I feel it, she said. The bond is made. Outside, the drones shattered the window and fired a stun blast. Valerie moved like lightning. She raised her hand, and a wave of blue energy shot forward, hitting the drones midair. Sparks flew. One exploded. The other spun wildly and crashed into the street. Turin stared in shock. Valerie turned to him. You gave me strength, she said. Now I'll protect you. She collapsed into his arms, body weak again, but smiling. Turin held her close, his hands shaking. He had no idea what he had just done. But now, they were connected forever, and there was no going back. The hunter and the heat. The workshop was quiet again. Smoke rose from the broken window. Sparks popped from the shattered patrol drone in the street. The other had exploded midair, now just a pile of burning metal. Turin sat on the floor, Valerie resting in his arms. Her body was hot, too hot, like holding fire wrapped in soft skin. Her silver eyes flickered open. I didn't mean to burn so bright, she whispered. I just wanted to protect you. Turin brushed her glowing hair back gently. You saved us both. She smiled faintly, but her body was trembling again. I used too much energy. I need to rest. Turin lifted her and carried her to the back room, now more like a nest than a bedroom. Strange soft threads had grown across the walls, spun from something Valerie had secreted in her sleep. They shimmered like spider silk and pulsed faintly with blue light. He laid her down and covered her with a blanket. Stay hidden, he said. There might be more drones. But as he turned to leave, Valerie caught his wrist. Turin, be careful. The explosion sent out a signal. Others will come, not just humans. Turin frowned. What do you mean? Valerie's voice dropped to a whisper. There are hunters from my world. Later that night, Turin stood in the shadows outside the workshop, holding an old plasma wrench for protection. The streets were empty, the city quiet. Too quiet. Suddenly, the sky shimmered, like a heatwave in the air. Then a figure appeared. It didn't walk. It floated. Tall, slender, armored in black metal. Its face was hidden behind a sharp mask with red lights where eyes should be. Turin ducked. The figure turned toward the workshop. A low voice, mechanical and cold, echoed through the air. Generi scent detected. Breeder class. Target is in heat. Initiating capture protocol. Turin's heart pounded. He whispered to himself, "They sent a collector." He remembered something he read once about alien trafficking. Some species stole Generi females during mating season because of their power. They were rare, valuable. He ran inside and locked the door. "Velari," he called. "We've got company." She struggled to sit up. "What kind of company?" "The worst kind," Turin said. "One of your people's hunters, or worse, someone who sells your kind." Velari stood shakily. "I can fight, but not alone." Her voice changed, deeper, more powerful. "You bonded with me. That means you can help channel my energy." "Me? How?" "Just stay close. Keep your hands on me. I'll do the rest." Turin grabbed a tool belt, fastened it around his waist, and stood beside her. The door exploded. The hunter floated in, scanning the room. Its mask lit up. Male human detected. Bond registered. Threat level. Secondary. Velari stepped forward, her body glowing brighter than ever. "I'm not going with you," she growled. The hunter didn't reply. Instead, it raised a weapon, not a gun, but a glowing net made of hard light. It flew forward. Velari raised her hand. "Now, Turin." He touched her back, and instantly a wave of energy passed between them. Velari's body pulsed with light. A shield formed around her, just in time to block the net. The hunter shifted tactics. It fired small drones, buzzing like insects, aiming for Turin. Velari jumped between them and screamed, her voice vibrating through the walls. The sound shattered two of the drones midair, but one hit Turin's shoulder, sending a shock through him. "Arg!" Velari turned with wide eyes. She rushed to him, her glowing hands pressed against the wound. Blue light poured into his skin. He blinked. The pain was gone. What was that?" he asked. "Our bond lets me heal you," she said, "but it takes energy." She turned toward the hunter, breathing hard. "I'm running low." Turin stood tall. "Then we finish this, together." Velari closed her eyes. "Then hold on tight." She grabbed Turin's hand. A burst of power shot out from their bodies, and the walls began to shake. Velari rose off the floor, not floating, but lifted by her own energy. The hunter charged, but Velari was faster. She met it midair, both palms glowing with pure light. They crashed in a brilliant explosion. Sparks and smoke filled the room. When it cleared, the hunter lay broken on the floor, armor cracked. Velari floated down slowly, falling into Turin's arms, weak but alive. "It's over," she whispered. But Turin shook his head. "No, it's not. That was only one." Velari nodded. "Now that they know I'm here, others will follow." Turin patched the broken walls and windows over the next 2 days. Velari slept most of the time, her energy slowly returning. But her body was changing again. Her glow was brighter, her skin warmer, her voice carried more weight. And something else. Every time Turin looked at her, his chest tightened. He couldn't ignore it anymore. He wanted to be near her, not because of instinct, but because of something more. One night, as he brought her food, Velari took his hand gently. "You feel it now, don't you?" she asked. Turin nodded slowly. "I don't know when it started, but I can't lie. I feel drawn to you. Not just the bond. You." Velari smiled. That's how we know it's more than biology. It's choice. She leaned closer. Turin didn't pull away. But before anything could happen, the lights flickered again. This time, a new sound filled the air. A deep humming, like engines in the sky. Valerie stood up, her eyes sharp. That's not a hunter. She stepped outside. Above them, a ship hovered. Black. Massive. Alien symbols glowing along its side. Turin whispered, "What is that?" Valerie's voice was quiet, but full of dread. "That's my people's ship, the Royal Fleet." Turin turned to her. "They're here to take you back." Valerie's eyes met his. "No, they're here because the bond you made with me is forbidden. Run or bond." The sky above Turin's workshop burned with silver light. The alien ship hovered silently, no sound of engines, no warning signals. It was massive, wide as 3 city blocks, shaped like a crescent moon, with glowing blue rings rotating around its core. Turin stood beside Valerie, watching it in disbelief. "Your people," he said. "They found you." Valerie didn't blink. "They weren't supposed to. This kind of bond, it's illegal for us." Turin turned to her. "Why?" Valerie looked up at the ship, her face calm, but her voice full of weight. "Because Generi are not allowed to bond with humans. Especially not royal bloodline." Turin stepped back. "You're royal." Valerie nodded slowly. "My mother is High Empress of the Eastern Moons. I'm firstborn, meant to be a diplomatic tool. My bond was already arranged since I was 13 cycles old." Turin's stomach turned. "So all this time, you were running away from an arranged marriage?" "I was running from a life without choice," Valerie said. "They don't care who I love. They only care about bloodlines and power. They don't want me to bond with a mechanic from a dying human city." Turin looked up at the glowing ship again. "What happens if they take you?" Valerie's voice turned cold. "They'll break the bond. They'll erase your memory. And they'll send me away. To a prince I've never met." Turin's fists clenched. "They can't just do that." Valerie placed a soft hand on his arm. "They can. And they will. Unless we do something first." Turin looked at her. "What?" She took a deep breath. "We either run, or we finish the bond." He blinked. "You mean fully bond?" Valerie nodded. "If the bond is completed willingly and recorded in our lifelines, even the High Empress cannot break it. It becomes sacred law." Turin stared at her, heart pounding. "And what does that mean for me?" Valerie's silver eyes glowed brighter. "It means you'll be my mate. For life. Emotionally. Spiritually. Physically. No escape." Turin swallowed hard. "Do you want that?" Valerie hesitated. Then she whispered, "I didn't plan it. I didn't even want it. But now, yes, I want you." Turin stepped closer. "Even if I'm just a human." Valerie smiled. "You're not just anything. You chose me when I was weak. You gave me your strength. And you never once asked for something in return." A loud tone echoed from the ship. "Generi Valerie, you are ordered to surrender. The bond is invalid. Prepare for collection." Turin turned to her. "We have to decide. Now." Valerie looked into his eyes. "Then choose me." They ran. Turin grabbed supplies, food, water, his datapad, and a plasma torch. Valerie pulled on a thick black cloak, her glow fading slightly as she adjusted her skin to hide it. The nest behind them dimmed and faded, its purpose complete. They left the workshop through the back alley and moved through the ruins of the industrial sector. Valerie guided them, her senses stronger now. "Your city is built over old caverns," she said. "They connect to the underground energy tunnels. We can hide there for a while." Turin followed without question. The streets above were alive with drone patrols and scanning beams. The ship above moved slowly like a beast sniffing for prey. They reached a rusted metal grate behind an old power plant. Valerie placed her palm on it, and her energy surged through the metal. It clicked open. Down they went. The tunnels were dark, damp, and long forgotten by Earth authorities. Terran's flashlight cut through the dust and webs. Valerie stayed close now. Too close. Their shoulders touched, their hands brushed. And each time they did, the bond grew deeper. They reached an old chamber, once used for storing energy cells. Valerie collapsed onto the floor, breathing hard. I need to rest. The running. It's weakening me again. Terran knelt beside her. How long can you go without finishing the bond? Valerie looked up at him, eyes flickering. Not long. Maybe hours. Terran took off his jacket and placed it over her. I can't lose you now. Valerie smiled weakly. Then you won't. She placed a hand on his chest. Terran, we can complete the bond here. Right now, if you're ready. Terran hesitated. His heart beat like a drum. Every part of him screamed that he should be afraid. But he wasn't. He was calm. Drawn. Sure. I'm ready, he said. Valerie leaned in, forehead touching his. Then open your thoughts to me. Terran closed his eyes. Suddenly, his mind filled with stars. He saw her memories again. Clearer this time. Her childhood. Her fear. Her first flight across a galaxy. Her secret tears when told she could never choose her own path. Then he felt her thoughts now, full of warmth, longing, peace. She felt him too, his lonely nights, his quiet kindness, the way he looked at the sky and dreamed of something more. Their minds wrapped around each other. And the bond, completed. A pulse of silver-blue light shot through the chamber. Valerie gasped, glowing like a star. Terran dropped back, heart racing. Not in pain, but in connection. They were now one. Mind, soul, bond. Valerie sat up slowly, her strength returned. You did it, she whispered. We're locked. Forever. Terran smiled. Now what? Suddenly, a voice echoed through the tunnel wall. They're down here. Terran jumped up. They found us. Valerie stood beside him, no longer weak. Her voice calm, steady, powerful. Let them come. I'm not running anymore. Above them, soldiers in sleek alien armor dropped through the hole. They pointed weapons. Behind them, a tall woman floated down, her crown made of crystal, her presence commanding. Valerie's mother. The High Empress. She looked at her daughter with cold eyes. You bonded with a human, against the royal code. Valerie stepped forward, not bowing. I bonded by choice. By law, you can't undo it now. The Empress narrowed her eyes. You'll be cast out. Valerie took Terran's hand. Then I leave gladly. The Empress turned to Terran. You've taken my daughter. What will you do with her, Earthling? Terran answered with a firm voice. I didn't take her. She chose me. And I'll protect her. Always. The Empress paused. Then, to everyone's surprise, she smiled slightly. You have fire, human. Maybe. She chose well. She turned to leave. The bond is yours to carry. Let the stars judge you both. Then she vanished, along with her guards. Silence filled the chamber. Terran turned to Valerie. Did that just happen? Valerie laughed, a real laugh. Yes. And we're still alive. The bonding. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the cracks in the tunnel ceiling. Dust floated in the golden light like tiny stars. The warship was gone. The city above was quiet. And deep underground, something new had begun. Terran opened his eyes slowly. He wasn't in the same place anymore. He sat in the middle of a soft, glowing chamber. Crystals pulsed in the walls, humming like a heartbeat. Valerie sat across from him, her legs crossed, her palms facing him. A silver thread of light connected their foreheads. Where are we? Terran whispered. Inside the bond, Valerie said gently. This is the mental space we now share, our own world. Turin looked around in awe. The walls changed color with each breath he took. Blue when he was calm, red when confused, violet when afraid. This is unreal. It's real, Valeri said, just not physical. We can visit this place whenever we connect deeply. It's where our minds meet. Turin stared at her. Why does this place feel ancient? Because the Generi bond isn't just between two people. It touches something older. Something from the stars. Valeri stood and walked toward a tall crystal in the center of the chamber. She placed her hand on it, and it lit up. Suddenly, visions flooded Turin's mind. A Generi queen from 1,000 years ago, bonding with a creature made of living flame. A human soldier from Earth's early space age, saving a wounded Generi priestess and forming a forbidden link. A dying planet where one last Generi bond lit up the sky in a final explosion of light and life. Turin gasped. These are memories. Yes, Valeri said. Not mine, not yours, but stored inside the ancient part of the bond. We are part of something much bigger now. Turin touched the crystal. He saw himself standing on a strange alien world with Valeri beside him. Older, stronger, wiser, leading others toward a glowing portal. I saw us. In the future, he whispered. Valeri nodded. The bond shows many paths. What we choose shapes what becomes real. Then the light faded and the chamber dissolved. They opened their eyes. Back in the real world, lying on the floor of the energy tunnel. Turin sat up slowly. I feel different. You are, Valeri said. Your body has accepted the bond. You're not just human anymore. He looked at his hand. Tiny silver lines now ran across his skin, like glowing tattoos. What is this? Valeri touched them. Your connection mark. It means your DNA now holds traces of my energy. Turin looked at her, serious now. Will I live longer? Yes, she said. You will age slower, heal faster, but you'll also feel what I feel. If I'm hurt, you'll know. If I die. Turin interrupted. Don't say it. Valeri smiled softly. All right. They stood together in silence, the only sound the soft hum of energy still echoing through the walls. Then Turin asked, What now? Valeri looked at him with a strange expression. Now, we see what the bond truly unlocked. Over the next 3 days, they tested their new connection. Turin discovered that when Valeri focused, she could share thoughts with him, even from far away. Her voice would echo in his head, calm and clear. He could feel her emotions too, not full thoughts, but waves of feeling. Sadness, joy, fear, even quiet love. And when they touched, their energy would surge. One night, while sitting outside an old broken building, Valeri held his hand, and the grass beneath them began to grow again. Real green grass, untouched by pollution. Turin stared at it. Was that us? Valeri smiled. Yes, our bond creates harmony, healing, even life. Turin looked at her in wonder. How is this even possible? The Generi bond was once sacred, she explained. In ancient times, it was used to heal cities, end wars, even awaken dormant worlds. But over time, my people grew afraid of its power. They made it illegal to bond outside our caste. So the bond isn't just about love? Turin asked. Valeri looked up at the stars. No, it's about creation. Turin leaned closer. Then what can we do with it? Before she could answer, the ground beneath them shook. A loud pulse echoed from beneath their feet, like something waking up. Valeri stood quickly, eyes wide. Something's down there, she whispered. Something ancient. Turin pulled out his scanner from his belt and checked. A strange energy signal glowed from deep below. Is it a ship? Valeri shook her head. No, it's older than ships. They followed the signal through the tunnels until they reached a massive metal door. Carvings covered the surface. Alien symbols mixed with Earth-style numbers. Turin wiped the dust away. Looks like some kind of vault. Villari touched the door. It lit up immediately, recognizing her bond. The metal groaned and slowly opened. Inside was a round chamber filled with floating orbs, glowing with data and memory. In the center was a large crystal heart, suspended in a field of light. Turin stepped inside, breathless. What is this place? Villari's voice trembled. This is a bond core. They were built long ago, only accessible to bonded pairs. It stores knowledge, power, hidden secrets of the Genari past. They walked toward the crystal. Suddenly, the heart glowed, and a voice echoed through the chamber. Bond pair recognized. Welcome, Villari. Welcome, Turin. You have awakened what has slept for 800 years. Turin whispered, It knows my name. Villari turned to him. This core will share everything, but only if we are strong enough. The voice continued. The future is broken. Galaxies drift toward war. The bond may restore balance if you are willing to carry its burden. Turin stepped forward. I'm willing. Villari looked at him, eyes wide with love and fear. Then we begin, the voice said. A beam of light surrounded them. Visions, codes, knowledge flowed into their minds. Terran sought alien technologies, forgotten histories, star maps, and ancient enemies rising again. Villari saw her ancestors, their mistakes, their wisdom, the truth behind the war that forced her people to flee. And then, a final image. A child, with glowing eyes, half human, half Genari, holding the galaxy in one hand and peace in the other. Turin opened his eyes, breathing hard. Villari stood beside him, speechless. The bond showed us a path. Yes, she whispered, and a warning. Turin took her hand. Then we better be ready. War, love, and choice. The bond core dimmed slowly. Turin and Villari stepped out of the chamber, their bodies changed, their eyes glowing brighter than ever. They walked in silence, hand in hand, hearts racing with everything they had just seen. The wars to come, the threats rising beyond stars, and a future child with the power to unite galaxies. But the future was not set. It would depend on what they chose next. Above ground, the city was no longer quiet. The Empress had returned. But this time, she did not come alone. 6 royal ships floated in the sky. Soldiers in gold armor stood at every major street. A giant silver banner rippled in the wind, displaying the royal symbol of Genari law, a hand holding a burning star. Turin and Villari stepped into the light. The crowd watched them. Humans, aliens, soldiers, patrols, even drones paused mid-air, recognizing the two as marked by the bond. The Empress stood on a hovering platform, eyes cold and fierce. You defied the ancient law, she said loudly. You unlocked a forbidden core. You touched what should never be touched. Villari stepped forward, unshaken. We followed the bond. We did not break it. The Empress raised her hand. The child shown in the vision is dangerous, a hybrid with powers that do not belong in one body. Such a future is not peace. It is collapse. Turin spoke next, his voice steady. No, what we saw was hope. That child is a bridge, not a bomb. Murmurs passed through the crowd. A younger soldier, barely older than a boy, lowered his weapon. The Empress noticed. You are my daughter, Villari, she said. But if you continue this path, you are no longer royal, no longer Genari. Villari looked at Turin, then back at her mother. Then I give up my title, my crown, my name, but I will not give up this bond. The crowd gasped. Turin held her hand tighter. You don't have to fight alone. The Empress raised her voice again. You think love will protect you. It won't. The galaxy eats love for breakfast. Villari replied, then we'll feed it fire. Suddenly, beams of energy burst from the side streets. Human resistance fighters, old rogue Gennari, and former royal guards who believed in the bond rose from hidden places. They weren't fighting for Velari and Terran. They were fighting with them. Because what the bond had awakened could not be ignored anymore. The battle began. Ships fired low-charge pulses over rooftops. Plasma shields lit up the streets. Velari created a glowing barrier that protected civilians, her power amplified by Terran's presence beside her. Together, they moved like one. Terran controlled human tech through his bond-enhanced mind. Drones obeyed him now. Security systems bent to his will. Velari soared into the air, glowing wings of energy extending from her back, a gift unlocked by their connection to the bond core. The Empress fought too, proud, skilled, and powerful. But her energy was sharp and cold. Alone, she cornered Velari at the edge of a ruined building. "You've doomed us all," she hissed. "Do you know what happens if you allow that child to be born?" Velari didn't step back. "I know what happens if we don't." A shot rang out, not from a gun, but from the skies above. A new ship entered the battle. Black, silent, marked with the ancient symbol of the extinct order of Null, a species known only in nightmares. Creatures that fed on bonds, destroyed harmony, and erased love from living things. The Empress looked up in horror. "They're real. The order has returned." Velari turned to Terran. "That's why the core showed us the child. Not just for peace, for survival." Terran nodded. "Then we fight not for love alone, but for life." The Empress stepped down from her platform. Slowly, she handed her spear to Velari. "I was wrong." Tears formed in her eyes. "Protect the bond, and protect us all." Velari embraced her mother for the first time in years. Together, all of them turned to face the darkness in the sky. The battle that followed was not just a fight. It was history turning its page. The Order of Null unleashed silent weapons, shadows that melted minds, drained color from the world. But the bond between Terran and Velari shined brighter. Wherever they stood, light returned. Where they touched, love pushed back the void. And finally, when the Order's last ship prepared its death cannon, meant to erase the entire city, Velari and Terran flew into the sky together, merged in energy and will. They placed their hands together and whispered at the same time, "Let there be unity." The energy burst from them was blinding. Not an explosion, a pulse of life. It spread across the land, wiping out the Order's ships, melting their weapons, turning shadow into light. And then, silence, peace. The sky cleared. The stars returned. Months later, a new city rose from the ruins, one built by humans and Gennari together. A new council formed, with both species in equal seats, and in a quiet greenhouse near a riverbank. Terran sat on a porch, holding a tiny baby in his arms. Her eyes glowed silver and blue. Velari came out with tea, smiling. "She likes the stars," Terran whispered. "She remembers the stars," Velari replied. Terran kissed his daughter's forehead. "I wonder what kind of world she'll grow up in." Velari wrapped her arms around him. "One where she doesn't have to choose between love and law." Terran looked out over the city. "Do you think they'll ever understand how close we came to losing it all?" Velari smiled. "They don't have to understand. They just have to remember that one bond saved everything." Terran nodded. And somewhere far above, among the stars, a new star was born. Not a sun, not a fireball, but a bright, steady light, a symbol of what happens when two souls choose each other against all odds.